Hi, I'm Jakira Black. I have been asked to do a video about dialogue, so I've got 10 tips for you to write better dialogue, because the thing is, it is important to get your dialogue right in a story because it will advance your story and it will flesh out your characters and make your story more interesting. So tip 1 is listen to voices and how people talk. Now, a really good site to use for this to actually help you understand and write dialogue is BBC Voices. They did a project all around the country recording different dialects. So I will put a link on down below, but you can listen to that and it will help you to write dialogue in different areas and be able to vary your characters so that it's noticeable who is speaking when, and without saying Jane said, Tim said, etc. So tip 2 is break up your dialogue with action. So don't just have someone coming and going, "Oh, what's for tea? I'm really hungry, blah, 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 blah." Have them coming in saying, "Oh, what's for tea?" Plonking themselves down on a chair, putting the head on the table, stuff like that to show that they're tired, maybe getting up and making the tea themselves. So put action in the middle of your dialogue, just to, flesh out your characters, like I said, and just to make it more interesting for the reader. Tip 3. If you're using dialogue to give backstory, and that's not necessarily a good idea all the time, but if you are doing it, then a drip, drip, drip method is far better than a gushing method, because the gushing method is just going to it's going to seem wrong, it's going to not confuse your reader, but it's going to just annoy your reader, because it's going to break the flow of your story up. Whereas like a drip, drip, drip throughout the story isn't quite so bad, so you get the backstory and they get to understand what's happened and everything. But slow and steady wins the race, is saying, and that is the thing to do with if you're doing backstory in your dialogue, or doing backstory full stop. So 4, don't use word tags. You can use said, maybe asked, possibly, but don't use words like shouted, shivered. Describe them instead. So instead of saying he shivered, describe him shivering. Instead of saying he shouted, describe him stamping his foot on the floor or banging the table. The look on his face. Okay, so tip 5. Don't let your characters speak for too long. Not just one character to speak too long, that is. Break it up with dialogue from other characters and with action and description. Because the thing is, if you've got like a massive paragraph of one character speaking, it just gets too much and the reader will switch off. I would switch off. I do switch off if there's too much dialogue or description, whatever. So break it up, with have a discussion, have the characters doing things. Just break it up so that it's in easy to swallow portions. 6, use silence as well as words. So for instance, description of body language is a good replacement to words. If someone says, a character says, "I love you," how is the other character going to respond? Are they going to say, "Well, I don't love you"? Or are they going to, is there going to be silence? Are they going to just stare at the person? Maybe they're going to start crying, or they're going to start laughing. But use body language as well as words, because body language communicates as much. So describe body language. 7. Use punctuation correctly when you're writing dialogue. So make sure you use full stops and commas and put them in the right place. Always start a new line after you've put he said, and capitalise it, and use single speech marks, because I think in America they use double. So if you're in America, then check it out, and if they use double there, then that's fine. But in the UK, the standard is single speech marks. So use just the single ones, not the double ones. So 8. Read your dialogue aloud to see if it sounds right, to see if it's too much for one character to say at one time and it needs breaking up, to see if it's got too much backstory, it's just being too much said, if it grammatically sounds right, if everything is right and it works, and yeah. So 9. Read widely, read a lot of fiction, read and read and read. And reading how other writers write dialogue will help you to write dialogue. So read, lots of reading, read as much as possible. And 10, practice writing dialogue by talking to yourself. And if someone looks at you strangely, then join the club. You're a writer. You're supposed to be strange. So that is my 10 tips, and I will do another video soon. So yeah, okay, bye.